Amiga, do you ever feel caught between two worlds? You cherish your cultural background, but sometimes it clashes with the realities of raising a family in modern America. You might feel pressured to fulfill traditional expectations, yet you crave a life that allows you to be your true, authentic self. If you're a Latina mom nodding your head right now, I see you, and I get it. Balanced Motherhood is more than your average Mami coaching program. It's a supportive comunidad designed specifically for you. I understand the unique challenges you face navigating between generations and culturas while forging your own path as a mama. Stop feeling like you have to choose between your roots and your future. Balanced Motherhood empowers you to create a life that celebrates your heritage, embraces your motherhood journey, and prioritizes your own happiness. Spots are limited. Don't miss out on this opportunity to connect with a supportive community and create a more balanced life. Visit the link in the show notes to join the waitlist for the next Balanced Motherhood cohort. I can't wait to meet you. You're listening to the Viva la Mami podcast, a podcast about all things motherhood. I'm your host, Jessica Cuevas. I am a mother of one on a mission to redefine the meaning of motherhood as a first-generation, bilingual, and bicultural Latina mommy. Regardless if we feel like a failure from time to time, or if we succeeded with the little things in our motherhood journey, it is important to celebrate all of these experiences as madres. So, bring your cafecito as I invite you to be a part of this space and create raw and honest conversations about the exciting and challenging parts of being a mommy. Ahora, vámonos. Hola, hola, amiga. Are you a Mami-To-Be? Have you built a comunidad with other mamás who are expecting the same time as you are? Well, when I was first pregnant of D, this was in late 2020, early 2021. And so as you probably already know this, we were all at our homes during the shutdown and during the peak of the pandemic. And so I needed to find ways to connect with other moms. And luckily, through my own network of individuals through my career and even grad school, I was able to connect with other moms-to-be, and all of us happen to be first-time moms. And so what I loved about this was that we were all due in the same month, which was January 2021. And while all of our experiences were so different, there's nothing like building a comunidad with other moms-to-be. It is very beneficial to talk, vent, cry, and laugh about all the things that we go through during our pregnancy. Our bodies, hormones, and even our thoughts change. And we shouldn't feel like we are doing this alone, because then we're not going to fully embrace and be present with our pregnancy. So for that reason, I am very excited to have a special guest with you today. We welcome Lily Espinosa, who is a soon-to-be first-time mom and experienced Tía and Madrina to 8 wonderful kids. She is soon to be promoted to Madre in June, and in this episode, you'll hear her thoughts, feelings, and emotions as she gets ready to embark on the biggest journey of becoming a mommy for the first time. As you may know, I am currently pregnant as well. And what I love about connecting with Lily is that we are both due one day apart from each other's expected due dates. And she is also my brother-in-law's twin sister. And she is also a madrina to our nephew. She and I both baptized him. And so there's so many connections that I have with her. But again, in this conversation, you will hear her story, her thoughts, feelings, as well as what my thoughts are, because I'm also pregnant. Even though I am an experienced mom of a toddler, it's still very important to connect with other moms-to-be, because each and every pregnancy is different. And so my hope for you is to get something out of this conversation, to remind yourself that you shouldn't do this alone. You should build a community with other moms to be or pregnant moms. And that way you don't feel isolated in your journey. So I hope this is beneficial for you. Feel free to contact me on Instagram, send me a DM after you listen to this podcast episode. And please share this episode with an amiga, especially someone who is currently expecting, because again, I can't say this enough. We shouldn't be alone in this journey. Hola, Lily. How are you?
Hola, good. How are you?
I am good. Thank you so much for being
Good.
here. It's great to have someone that I know on the show
Right.
because there's so many mujeres that I look up to, that I feel like we connect, and I feel like your story is so worth telling. Just because you are not yet a mommy, you
Yeah.
are pregnant. You are a mommy to be, which is so exciting. And I just love this story, how like we are both currently pregnant and our due dates are a day apart. And I love it. And so for the listeners out there, Lily is my brother-in-law's sister. There's that connection. But I feel that we also have other connections, like we're not too far apart in age, from each other. We're madrinas of our first nephew, Julian. So there's a lot of, connections there. But I'll give you space for you to introduce yourself and we can get started.
Great. Well, thanks for having me. As you probably know, this is a very exciting time for us with it being our first baby. So I am actually your brother-in-law's twin. So, and also I have an older brother who they both have children. So I'm the last one out of the three to have a child. So everyone's excited. We're excited, scared, nervous, everything. So this is very new for me. Even though, I think we're the best Tia and Theo. I think this is going to change the dynamic for everyone because
Mm-hmm.
we've been a Tia and Theo for so long, and now we're going to be parents. So it's
Yeah.
going to be exciting.
Yeah, it
I
is.
I work from home. I work for an e-commerce lighting company. So that's, I think personally is going to be nice, when baby comes along.
Thank you so much for introducing yourself and kind of walking us through a little glimpse of how you feel, right? And yeah, like you have been a tia for so long. And even though you have interacted with kids, you've babysat, you've, like been exposed to
Hmm.
them, like it is a lot different. And even for me, like I was a dog mom before I became an actual mom. And it was like, oh, dogs are worse than kids. And I'm like, mm-mm, like, no, like it's so easy to have a dog, I feel like. and and I was also a tia before I became a mom. And so it definitely changes just like your perspective in holding on to this responsibility, right? For the rest of
Yeah,
your life.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm definitely curious to see how different it's going to be. I mean, I
Mm.
know, having your own child, you're going to be with this child 24/7 versus being at the end deal, you let them go when it's time, and just
Yes.
going to be interesting.
Yes, it is. But it'll be fun. And so yeah, the reason why we have you here is to kind of, yeah, just I guess to curate your what you're thinking, what you're feeling, because I feel like there are often times within our own community as Latinos that we tend to be isolated in terms of our feelings, in terms of what we, even like think, what is it that we're actually going through in terms of our emotions. And we don't talk about that, especially when it comes to being pregnant. And it's
Hmm.
funny, I'm also pregnant, but this is my second rodeo. And even though it's my second time, like everyone says, ¿Cómo está el bebé? And it's like, can you check on me? I'm here.
Right, right.
and so know that this is for you. This space is for you, and that way, whatever that has been going on or anything, you can just like let it out and put it out there in the universe. And I'm sure that another mom who is expecting or who will be expecting in the future can resonate or relate with. So, first of all, can you kind of walk us through the time when you looked at the pregnancy test? Were you excited? Like, was this something that you've been wanting to do? You've wanted to start having a family? And when did you decide to tell your friends and family when you found out?
Yeah. So my husband and I have been together for 14 years. And at one point, we were just kind of questioning if we really wanted to have kids in the
Mm-hmm.
future. At the time, we we were okay either way, but as we were getting older, we really sat down and we asked ourselves if, if this is something that we really wanted. And obviously, we decided that we did. So we had been prepping for about a year. We knew that this was going to happen. So, we traveled a lot, we had a lot of fun. And so once it was time to start trying, we tried for 1 month and it didn't happen. And it was like the end of the world for me. It just makes you start questioning and thinking, like, what if this is going to continue? And what if I can't have kids? And like all these things just go through your mind. So I finally calmed down. We tried again. And thankfully, after a month, we got pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
I was so excited when I saw that positive test. Um, so at the time, we had our family visiting in from Arizona. And even though it was early on, we were about a month in, my parents were leaving, my brother were leaving. So we're like, probably be a good time to tell everyone just because we're all together and that doesn't happen a lot these days.
Mm-hmm.
So we told them. They had no idea. My parents were staying with me and they just had no idea. They were all shocked. And then we decided to tell our close family and friends who we see pretty much every weekend, which, to some people, it was a lot of people that we told.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing was that I felt comfortable telling these people because a lot of them have been through this before. A lot of them are moms, and I felt, even though it was early on, that um, they would support me in any way,
Mm-hmm.
whether something bad happened, something good. I just felt like for me personally, I was okay with telling people early on.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody was excited. Most people did not expect it because we had kept everything pretty much a secret because that's what I wanted. I wanted everyone to be excited for us.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So,
surprise too, which is, I think
yeah,
that's always fun because even though you've been with your partner for such a long time, it's like, I guess it is removed from like the people and they're like not even aware until they at least expect it. And this
yeah,
was your shot, to
yeah,
surprise folks. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's
Some people
cool.
even said, "Oh, like it crossed my mind that you were maybe not even gonna have kids."
Mm,
Like, it's just we just like kept it such a
yeah.
secret.
And I think that's cool because a lot of people just assume like, oh, once you're married or once you find your partner, the default is to get pregnant, right? To start a family.
Yeah.
And I think that it's good that you were intentional, right? Like you both talked about it, you prepped, like you wanted to
Hmm.
make sure that this was something that you wanted to do
Yes.
because it helps you switch that mindset in a transitional way instead of like flipping it like automatically right away, And this is such a personal decision. And oftentimes in our community, the number one question that newlywed couples get is like, oh, ¿cuándo van a tener
Hmm.
bebés?
Yeah.
And I think that that's such a personal question and a very individual like decision only couples
Hmm.
get to decide and no one else. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm sure it never stops. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
have your first kid and then you have the second one, and then it's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
are you gonna go for the next one? Like it's just, human nature, I guess.
Right, right, exactly. Yeah, well, can you kind of walk us through your first trimester? How did it go?
Well, there was a lot of, I know you've heard this so many times, but it's not really morning sickness. Sometimes it's all day sickness, and that's what I experienced. So it was just kind of like annoying to have lingering around most days. But other than that, I mean, besides being tired, it's been my first semester was okay. And
Yeah.
then now in my second trimester in 26 weeks, going on to our third, I've been feeling good the second trimester. No morning sickness, no nothing. So I'm just like anxious to see what the third one's going to be like, if I'm going to go back to how the first one was, you
Mm-hmm.
know, just never
Yeah.
know.
I know. Even for me, like this is my second pregnancy and it's been pretty similar in a way, but I feel a lot tired. And I'm also tending, a
Right,
toddler.
to a toddler, yeah.
Yeah, and that in itself it's been taking so much energy out of me. But yeah, I would say, well, kind of going back like in my third trimester, I think it was fine until like the last month. The last
Very
month
end.
was
Okay.
rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can barely hold yourself up. And, right now I'm experiencing like back aches and like aches like on my hips.
Hmm.
Even though I do sleep with a pregnancy pillow, like that hasn't been very
Yeah.
helpful. And I'm
Hmm.
like, dang, I'm only 26 weeks. I can imagine once I'm further in.
Right.
But yeah, yeah. Well, that's good that you're feeling good now. And I guess like, is there anything that you are worried about for the third trimester?
Just kind of falling back into that, the sickness. Even before I was pregnant, I had a lot of motion sickness, and it's just, it kind of pumps the brakes on your day. Like it just changes everything. And then you're trying to prepare for a baby. It just, I'm just worried about not being able to prepare like I want to because there's
Hmm.
things holding me back. So
Yeah, yeah,
we'll see how it goes. But I do want to say that it hasn't been that bad. Like
yeah,
so far I'm not traumatized, and I'm thinking I can do this again, but we'll see. You
yeah.
know, the worst could still come. So
Right. Yeah. But the good thing is that you're not alone. Someone else went through the same kind of
right.
experience, and our world can be small where there can be someone that you can connect with
Hmm.
and they can share that experience with you as well. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So what makes you nervous or excited as like you're heading towards the end of your pregnancy?
So we are actually not going to find out the sex of the baby till we give birth. So I don't know if that's adding on to my anxiety,
Hmm.
but it's definitely high. We've had so many opportunities to like know, and we even like stopped and thought about it. We're like, you know, we can find out now. Like, are you sure we don't want to find out? But like my doctor said today, she said, you get very few surprises in your life. So,
Hmm.
and that's one of them. So, I think we've made the best decision. So, I'm just trying to control the anxiety and remember that it's all going to be worth it at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very exciting. And does family like think that you're gonna have like a boy or a girl? Where are they
Oh,
leaning
yeah.
towards?
Yeah, I've gotten both, mostly
Okay.
boy, probably. I feel like it's gonna be a boy. I've always said it since the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
but you never know. And yeah, I mean, I get questions like, what are we gonna get the baby? Like, if we don't
Mm.
know what sex it is. And at the end of the day, it's the color of the clothes is not, the
Right.
most important. So,
Right.
we'll just figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we didn't find out with D. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, like everyone asked me that same question, like, oh, pues, ¿qué le vamos a comprar de ropa? And I'm like,
Uh-huh.
well, there's white, there's gray.
Yeah, yeah,
Babies don't know what pink and blue is, like
yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
I'm very type A. Like I prepare as
Mm.
much as I can for anything. So it's been a little hard, but it's
Yeah.
fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be worth it. Yeah,
Yeah.
like once you get to meet the baby
Yeah.
and yeah, either you knew that it was your intuition, where
Hmm.
and even if
Right.
it's right, like it'll
Yeah.
still be a surprise. And
Right.
yeah, yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What have you done as you are prepping for childbirth? Like have you taken any of like those childbirth classes, or have you looked into any of those kind of resources?
Yeah, so we have a few classes scheduled coming up. I'm really excited about that just because, we're first time parents and just
Mhm.
kind of get to see what to look forward to and what to expect. So pretty much that's it. I'm trying to get my body ready by exercising, going for walks, because it's just going to be here before we know it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've been so bad with that. Like it's been a struggle. And winter too, like I feel like
Yeah,
we've been pregnant for
yeah,
like all winter long,
right, yeah.
and weather has, I mean, now it's getting a little better, but yeah, I feel like that is like restricting us to go out and
Get some fresh air. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so as far as with like the childbirth classes, are you doing it through your hospital or are you looking like online, in person? What type of classes are they?
Yeah, we're doing them through our hospital. They offer the birthing class. They have a class for first time parents, which is nice, child care classes. So, yeah, they have a few classes that they're offering. So, that's nice. And then just getting advice from moms already.
Mhm.
I think like if I think of something, I'll ask someone, and I feel like that's the best way to kind of prepare.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, and even if you take as many classes as
Yeah,
you can, things can come up unexpectedly, and
yeah.
but it's a good thing that you're taking, especially those classes for first time parents, because yeah, unfortunately for me with the first time, like we were in the middle of the pandemic. We
Mm,
couldn't go anywhere.
yeah.
Yeah, we did online ones, but they weren't as efficient, I feel like as
Hmm.
helpful. Yeah, because it was just reading through a slide. Like there was no
Right.
interaction or no connection that I was able to get with
Yeah.
other pregnant folks. And yeah, it was a lot different.
Yeah, I've seen some online courses that are available, but I'm like, it's probably best now that we can to go
Hmm.
in and experience those classes.
How important is it for you to build community with other moms? You already mentioned that you have been reaching out to different moms. Like, do you think that it is valuable right now? And will you still continue on utilizing and building community after once the baby's here?
Yeah, I just think for me personally, it's nice that I have so many moms to reach out to talk to. And it's just very helpful. And I also listen to a lot of podcasts. So when I'm talking to these moms, I'm like, oh, like I did hear that and that sounds familiar. And it's nice to know that I'm one, listening to the right podcast, and then two, that I'm not as not prepared, I guess you could say,
Mm-hmm.
than I think I am. But like you said, I mean, it's just, you never know. You can't be too prepared. But yeah, I think it's important to talk to other moms and not just like one or two, but like a lot because everyone's gone through something different.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice to hear everyone's different story.
It is helpful to connect with people who have gone through this, and it's almost like they are paving the way for new moms or expectant moms, and that way you are more aware. Even though, like, for some people, they feel like, oh, I shouldn't share this because it can be triggering or it can
Hmm.
overwhelm someone. But I think, at least for me, like, I think it's important to know, like, someone's
Yeah.
story,
Hmm.
because once you are in labor and unless you have a doula, like, it you're going to make that decision, whatever decisions on your own and with, your partner or your husband. And so, yeah, like I think that the more that you are aware, the more that you know, the more kind of prepared you are for any kind of scenario. But it does make it hard though. Like I never knew like an actual person's birth story. Like not even Karina's, my sister, like
Really?
yeah, like I didn't even know that you can get stitched up or that you still have to push the placenta. Like I didn't know
Yeah.
this, and
Yeah.
it wasn't until the childbirth classes, which were helpful, but I feel like you almost keep it on your own, and it's almost like, no, you shouldn't traumatize someone who hasn't yet experienced it. But it's not
Right.
about being
Yes.
traumatized. I think it's more so about being educated and aware,
Hmm.
of things that happen, and it's
Right.
normal. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a mom tell me once her whole birthing experience, and it sounded traumatizing and
Mm-hmm.
bad, but I told her, I'm like, this is the kind of stuff I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just so it's not, it doesn't come as a surprise, whatever
Yes.
does happen.
Right.
So I like to know it all, the good and the
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. Because we already have this perception of childbirth like through movies,
Right.
media, and it's not like that.
Yeah.
It is
Right.
not clean like that either.
Right. Yeah.
How are you feeling like supported, not just with other mommies, but like with your family, your husband? Like, do you feel like you have a good support system right now and that you'll continue on having once the baby is here?
Yeah. Support is probably like the biggest thing I can say that we have, especially from my husband who has to deal with these emotions and these cravings, and it's just he's never experienced this either, but I think he's doing a great job, and my parents and my brothers who've been through this before. So I feel very lucky to have the support that we have.
Yeah. You mentioned
Yeah.
cravings. What are your cravings?
That's like one of the myths on having a girl is sweets, and
Hmm.
I'm usually a salty person, but I'm craving all the sweets, all the soda, everything cold, like all my drinks. I even
Mm.
put ice in my milk, anything cold.
Oh,
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I just get thirsty and I want everything in a glass of ice.
that's
But
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, that's great. I haven't had any cravings like, and even with D either, like which is weird. I do have a sweet tooth,
yeah,
but I don't know if it's because it's a little bit more intense this time,
yeah,
but yeah, I'm fine with not having sweets
yeah,
on
I
a day
would
to
be
day.
too,
So,
but
yeah. Yeah.
unfortunately, that's not the case.
No, that's good. Yeah, that is like very specific though, like everything on ice.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is very
yeah,
specific. That's
yeah.
hilarious. Yeah. At least it's not like pickle juice or whatever people say. Like,
Right, no, nope.
yeah. Have you been craving like, I don't know, like a mimosa or wine or, a drink?
Definitely, yeah, that's a big one. But there's all the non-alcoholic
Hmm.
mocktails these days, so it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. The other day we were having pizza and I was like, oh, I want a beer with pizza. Like, I just love that combination. And so
Yeah,
Alex got me like the Heineken, the
yeah,
0%, and they're
uh-huh.
good. Yeah. Like, you don't get that like aftertaste, I
Buzz.
guess.
Oh,
Yeah. Or
okay.
the buzz
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
But yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty
yeah.
legit. I think they've come a long way now, which is good because it's also helpful for those that don't want to drink. And now
Right.
all these companies are having more non-alcoholic
All these
drinks, which is cool.
options. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, like I feel like with this pregnancy, for me, I feel like I haven't been fully involved in it because again, I'm
Mhm.
busy.
Yeah.
How are you? Like, have you been taking like baby bump pictures every week or whenever you have the time?
Yeah.
How have you been like present on this pregnancy?
Yeah, and I think it's well, two things because I don't have another child at the moment, but also because it is my first
Mm-hmm.
and I want to embrace it because knowing probably like the second time around or third time around, it's not going to be the same. So I'm just trying to embrace this now that I have the time, a little bit more time than I would if I had more kids. I'm taking the pictures. I'm feeling like the baby move every
Mm.
second and it's just, I don't know, it's just, I'm embracing it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. Do you read to baby, like, or do you talk
I
to baby?
I play music. I like country music. So I've
Okay.
been playing country music for it. And yeah, like especially like when my husband's here, try to make conversation so that the baby can hear him and just so he knows who daddy is. And
Yeah,
yeah, try to be involved in that way.
yeah, that's so cute. Yeah, how does Edwin feeling, or how has his involvement been throughout this process, and especially seeing you from no bump to bump?
Yeah, I think I don't know, yes, he's liking it. He talks to the baby. I think it's really cute. I've never been like, oh, you should probably talk to the baby or,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he does that on his own. I sense his excitement. So I think he's doing a good job.
Yeah, and I think the good thing for him specifically is that he has nieces and nephews. Like he has that
Also, yeah.
experience of taking care of
Hmm.
kids. Like I've even seen him like whenever there's like kids' birthday parties and I'm like, whose
Hmm.
kid is that?
Yeah.
And and then I'm like, that is so cool that he is
Yeah.
involved, with someone else's kid because that definitely helps, Whereas with Alex, like he never changed a diaper, he never interacted with little ones because he's the oldest
Hmm.
and his family is very small compared to my,
Hmm.
my big ass family. And
Uh-huh.
so, yeah, like he was never really exposed to little kids.
Hmm.
So it's always helpful for
Yeah.
the partner, to have that experience.
Yeah. I don't know that he's ever changed a diaper, but at least he's he's a kid at heart, so that helps.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. That's
He's
great.
definitely going to be the one running around with our child
Mm-hmm.
and,
Mm-hmm.
having fun. He's going to be
Yeah.
the nice parent, the fun parent. So,
I know, don't you hate that? Like, yeah. Yeah. Do you
yeah,
do you envision yourself being more of like the disciplinarian, the more, I
I
guess,
think so.
sturdy one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, there has to be balance.
Mm-hmm.
So he definitely balances me out in a lot of ways. So,
Mm. What do you envision like motherhood to be? Like, do you think you'll sort of emulate the way that you were parented by your parents, or will you kind of change it and obviously add little specks of how you grew up?
it's really hard to picture motherhood for me.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I've obviously never been there, but I don't know. I just think about like my nieces and nephews. Like, for example, my mom is obviously really sweet with my nieces and nephews, and then maybe almost like a little, they get away with anything with her. But like, I notice when I'm around them, I'm a little bit more strict, like, or
Mm-hmm.
because like I know, like, are you sure you should be drinking this or you should be eating this?
Mm-hmm.
I just I don't know, and I don't know where I get that from. Maybe I got it from my mom or just watching another mom,
Mm-hmm.
but that's how I've been as a tia. So I picture myself being that way too with my own child.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I know
Yeah.
they say that it's different when you're a grandmother versus a mother.
Oh, yeah.
So,
For
um,
sure. I feel like
yeah,
grandparents just like give in and they're like, yeah, we'll spoil them and let them do whatever they want.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Which,
how.
like my mom wasn't like that with us,
Mm,
but maybe that's where I get the mom instincts or whatever you want to call it.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
because of how she was with us. And now I see how she is with her grandchildren. It's totally different.
Yeah. And how about Edwin? Like, does he want to kind of emulate like how he grew up with his parents, or is he like, no, like I want to be completely different because of whatever reason?
Yeah, no, I think he looks up to his parents a lot, and he seems to think they did a good job raising their children. So I feel like
Yeah.
he will emulate them in many ways.
Do you think that you both will have different parenting styles, or have you like talked about that? Or is it just like, oh, we'll see, just depending how the child will be?
I don't know if we've just been together so long or like we've seen each other with our nieces and nephews, but I feel like we're on the same page. It's
Mm-hmm.
not something that we've like dug into in conversation, but I'm pretty confident, I guess, that we're gonna have the same parenting skills.
Yeah, yeah, that's
I'm not
good.
like worried about that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we'll see.
And parenthood is definitely, it's such a life learning experience, and you grow as your child grows.
Yeah.
It's all a learning experience. Even though we're the adults and we're the ones making the decisions for our children, it's almost like we are adapting to what their needs are
Hmm.
and yeah, like what they need, what they want, where we can meet them. We got to find like a middle ground sometimes. Like right now,
Hmm.
I'm literally fighting with a toddler at times, and I'm like, you're so tiny. And he's challenging me, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah, right.
yeah, but it's definitely like the way that we approach things. And that
Hmm.
can be a little different, especially with us first, second gen, generation like children. It's like, okay, a lot of the things that our parents did was very like old school or, kind of outdated. And so now we have to figure out like, okay, how can we best meet where our child is, but
Hmm.
also like setting boundaries as well. And for me that has been a challenge because like there is no manual on how to be a parent.
Hmm.
There's resources, there's books, that I've been reading, or different accounts that I've been following, but at the end of the day it's whatever fits with your family and kind of like your mission as a mom, and
Right,
that can change too. So
right. Yeah.
yeah.
The good thing is that my husband is more patient than I am.
Yes.
I tend to overthink things,
Mm.
and
Mm-hmm.
he calms me down, and he just that like I made a comment the other day about how are we going to handle a toddler? Because like I think of you and everyone who has a 2-year-old right now, and he's like, you know what, like we'll just deal with it when we get there, like
Mm-hmm.
however that looks, like because
Mm-hmm.
you really can't plan for that.
It's good that you have someone that's different in a way that can keep you grounded. Yeah, because that's always helpful, especially when there's like intense moments, like, I don't know, trying to make the kid to eat, for example. Like for
Yeah.
me, that always gives me anxiety because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, he's not receiving the nutrients that he needs, or like,
Hmm.
oh, he's gonna get skinny or whatever. And even though these are messages that even we grew up with, for the most part,
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that I am a good mom in feeding my son, with adequate nutrition or whatever. And then my
Hmm.
husband's like, well, if he's hungry, he's going to want to eat. He's going to
Right.
ask. And so I'm here having like intrusive thoughts. Whereas with him, he's like more practical, like, you
Right.
know, so yeah, it's a good thing that he's like that and
Hmm.
you kind of balance each other out. Because if y'all
Yeah.
were both like nerve wrecks or,
Yeah.
yeah,
No.
that would be,
No.
that would be intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, so with Edwin specifically, like how does he like feel right now? Like is he getting more and more like anxious or excited? How is he preparing for once the baby is here?
I think I've like this whole time I've kind of trying to keep him up to date with like the number of weeks, the number of months. I'm like, at first it felt like it was going by slowly because we found out so early, but now we realize that we're in 6 months and we have three left to go, and I'm just like, we gotta do this and we gotta do that, and he's just very chill about it. And sometimes I wish I was like that, but yeah, I think he's excited. I don't know, like, because maybe he's not the one going through this, but
Mhm.
or that's just his personality, but he seems pretty calm and just taking it all in, taking in this time
Mhm.
that we have together, just us two. And yeah, when it comes, it comes. And he's
Yeah.
kind of just enjoying all of everything that's happening right
Yeah.
now.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good to be present and
Yeah.
enjoying this time when it's, yeah, like you two. It's a lot easy when
Yeah.
it's just you two.
Yeah.
But it's honestly an amazing feeling, like just seeing your partner grow as well as a father. Like there's something
Yeah.
about, I don't know, like I feel like we don't pay much attention to dads. And I think that especially Latino dads who perhaps have never been given the space to, talk about their emotions or their feelings,
Hmm.
and it's just awesome to see that transition and witnessing that. And as long as you both like have this open communication, like, and I think that the way that Alex grew up was like he never had the opportunity to express himself.
Hmm.
That's just the way that he grew up. And now, like, as a dad, I see him so different. And I think it's because he doesn't want to continue that cycle of being silenced
Hmm.
and, not having the opportunity to just express yourself or whatever. And so I think, yes, motherhood changes us as women, but it also changes men as like, once they become fathers. And
Yeah.
it's really cool to see that.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see that because that's like the one thing that the one side of him I've never seen. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited.
What are your top three things that either you've put on your registry or that you're thinking about? How is that process going? Because you're starting from scratch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I look at my registry and we're not completely finished, but there's already so much stuff on there. And we're literally starting from scratch. But some things that I absolutely need. I mean, I could say this now and then in the future, like I'm not even going to use these things, but I don't know. I'm trying to get advice from everyone and trying to see what I'm really going to need like the first few months. I don't know. I'm excited about like the nursing pillow. I don't know why.
Which one? Which one is
The
it?
Boppy
The Boppy? Yeah.
nursing pillow. I'm excited. Oh, the swaddles. I don't know. I just
Yeah.
think like I was going through the many different kinds and I was like asking for advice because like why are there so many different kinds? But I finally like narrowed down the ones that baby's gonna actually need. So I
Mhm.
don't know, things like that excite me. I'm not
Mhm.
like all over the place with all the different kinds of swaddles. And I don't know. I'm excited about the baby clothes just because they're so
Yeah.
cute. Yeah, everything.
Yeah. I know everything is so cute and it's just insane how there's like a market for just babies. And even though,
Yeah.
yeah, some things are going to be a necessity, other things it's like, well, do I really need it?
Yeah.
And we definitely learned that from the first. And we're definitely using all of these. We are repurposing or reusing,
Yeah.
things that we had with D and now with this one because yeah, like baby stuff is expensive too when you really
Hmm.
think about it. Like any little
Yeah.
gadget, it's gonna add up and it
Yeah.
takes a bunch of space too.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the space.
Yeah, yeah. And
That's,
they'll outgrow it, within a month's time. And it's like, well, what am I going to do with this? But it's
Yeah.
always good to save if you like save the things,
Hmm.
if you are planning to have another one, unless it's recalled or whatever. But yeah, like it's good. Like we're going to use the same car seat, the infant car
Yeah.
seat, because it's
And I guess
expensive.
that's the good thing about being gender neutral. Like
Yeah,
all this stuff we definitely can use in the future. So
exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I know
We
that's
haven't decided on the bigger things, the car seats, electronics, just because there's a lot of research that's involved and there's
hmm
so many products out there, but it's a little
Yeah.
overwhelming.
It is. It's so overwhelming.
So
Well, let me know
yeah,
because there's definitely some favorite products that we love. Like for example, like
yeah,
one that I have off the top of my head is the Hatch, which is like the sound
yeah,
machine.
uh-huh,
Yeah, that's always helpful. We actually
yeah,
registered a new one because that one will be for a baby and D
yeah.
uses his still.
But even that, there's like four different
Yeah.
versions.
I know there's like a
Okay.
one that has like music or you can I don't know, you can like connect your phone with Bluetooth or something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah. I don't know. That's
it's
intense.
crazy out there.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
one by one, like marking off our list. Like I don't want to get overwhelmed with all these products.
Yeah. 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 And when you think about it, I mean, my mom didn't have a crib when she was a little baby. It was like a
Yeah.
cajon. Like that's
Yeah.
how, we survived or whatever. Like I'm sure that they've used a bunch of padding and pillows when I was an infant.
Right.
And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But as long as, yeah, like the baby is in a safe environment, and
Yeah.
it works out for both of you and as much as you want the most expensive stuff, like, is it worth it? I don't know. Some
Right.
people have
Yeah. Am I going
specific
to use
preferences.
it?
Right, right. And it also depends on baby. Like with swaddles that you mentioned, like
Right.
D never liked to be swaddled. Like he always had his arms up and he would
Hmm.
never want to be like swaddled. I still have so many receiving blankets and like swaddles, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, well, we'll see about this one.
Right.
But I literally want to put down in the invite for the baby shower, like, please, no swaddles or
No.
blankets because we have too many. And I already told my
Yeah.
mom, I'm like, please do not get me any more blankets. And she's like, ay, pero ya te compré uno de Mexico. And I'm like, fine, that one's fine. But like,
No
yeah,
more.
we have too
Yeah.
much.
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
I can
So
imagine.
if you could leave a note to baby in this recording, what would it be? And I'm going to save
Uh,
it.
just know that, your mom and dad already love you so much. We're excited. We're here for it. We're here for you to experience all the good, bad, the ugly. Like we're here for it. So we're
Yeah.
excited to meet you.
Yeah.
We can't wait. It's
Go ahead.
hard to think of the words, because
hmm
it's not here yet, but I don't know.
It's a very interesting feeling for sure because you always wonder, like, oh, ¿cómo se va a parecer? ¿Cómo se va a ver? Like, or how are they going to be? Like, how are they going to behave?
Yeah.
What kind of personality will they have? And there's just so much wonder in a way and
Hmm.
like a lot of questions and it's
Yeah.
a lot of mystery, I think,
Yeah.
when it comes to a baby, like especially when you are expecting.
Hmm.
And yeah, and I think something that I definitely learned is that babies, as all human beings, we are social beings. And oftentimes our children mirror what we do and
Hmm.
how we react to things and,
Yeah.
what we say. It's like Dia's definitely catching up on some cuss words. Whenever we want to curse something, we're like, oh shoot, now we have to like be
Yeah.
quiet.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, it's like they are mini versions of us.
Hmm.
But even so, like it's just crazy how genetics works. Like there are some like smirks that he does that he literally does it like my father-in-law, or like the curious kind of way of like it's como maldoso in a way, that comes from my dad, because my dad was such a troublemaker. And so like, yeah, like it's just crazy. Like even though they don't see their grandparents on a day-to-day basis or whatever, they don't live with them, they still have something in that lineage. And I just feel like that is amazing. And they're parts of us. And just the way that you are too with your grandma and whoever. Yeah.
I'm really excited to see how that's all going to play out.
Yeah, well, know that you're not alone, you know, especially as you're getting closer to the end of your pregnancy. Like, embrace it, try to live it day by day. Like, I loved being pregnant. I love being pregnant right now. That's something that, even though it feels like forever, it's definitely short. And so definitely enjoy these, you know, last few months, but know that if you ever need anything, let me know. And I'm glad that you are connecting with other mamas too, because that's always important to build community and, you know, to know that you have a support system, because we shouldn't be alone in this.
Thanks for all your advice and your support. Even though we're going through this together, this is your second, so you know a little bit more than I do. So
definitely
fun. And I'm sure Karina is like over the moon that we're both having baby at the same time.
Yes, it's so funny. Like, she always shares her concerns. She's like, but what if you two are in labor at the same time? What am I supposed to do? And I'm like, I don't know. I just know that in my hospital, I don't think there's a waiting area. Like, so.
Oh, well, then that takes care of that.
Our babies can definitely grow up together, which is cute, you know? So they'll be really close in age, which, I'm excited about. We'll see when the birthdays will be. But that's something that will be nice to continue on and have that connection, you know?
Right.
So,
So although my baby won't be a twin, it'll have someone close that will have a close birthday.
There you go. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you for sharing your feelings and what you're currently going through. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
And thanks for having me. Thanks for your advice, and we'll see how it goes. I'm excited.
Of course. All right. Well, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Viva la Mami podcast. If you like this episode, make sure to leave a review and write what episode really resonated with you. If you really loved it, share it on social media or with an amiga. As always, please subscribe to this podcast wherever you are listening. Make sure to follow me at Viva la Mami on Instagram or visit vivalamami.com. Please note the information shared in this podcast is for educational purposes only and should not be replaced by your healthcare provider nor taken as professional advice.